It doesn't make it faster for us to be on the phone. I work on an IT help desk. It is what you think it is. One of the things we support is mobile phones. However, the company my company supports, and the one I'm on the desk for, has supplied us and the user with handy-dandy guides on how to do pretty much everything that's needed on mobile phones. It's really airtight and I love directing people to the guide because it has a video and steps on how to do things. They can find it on the intranet in the IT section. However, since the average caller never reads the guides, we often get callers who think that we can magically do things over the phone to fix it. These are people who get up, get dressed, tie their shoelaces and completely forget how to do anything but breathe when they get on the phone. To us, you think that's hyperbole, but I've been asked which finger they need to use to tap the phone. One such user logged a ticket and demanded a callback from an expert. He was given the user guide link. And oh boy, did not like that. He called and got through to me. And I explained that we have the exact same guide. And that I would only be reading it out to him over the phone as he read on his end. Naturally, he didn't listen to a word I said and demanded I help him because he doesn't have time for the guide and he'd rather speak to a tech person to sort it out. QMC. I spent an hour and 20 minutes on the phone, slowly going through the guide word for word and making sure he'd follow every step. I even got it on his laptop screen that I can access. He asked several times if we were almost done, to which I reiterated, "You can come back to this at your leisure." Using the guide on the intranet. Mobile phones are not managed in the same way as computers. We can't remote access it and fix things. He had meetings, lunch, all sorts of things lined up that got shifted out of whack on his calendar and every message he received on his laptop that he answered. I made sure to go back a couple steps just to confirm what we'd done so far. He wanted to speak to an expert, so I just made the guide speak through me. Edit. Thank you for the awards. I'd like to address a couple things. 1. I should support them regardless and do my job. Copy pasta. My job isn't customer service. And phone issues are referred to the guide because we do not receive training on the mobile phones. I cannot support something I do not know how to operate. And there isn't a mobile phone expert. I was complying with help desk policy. Refer to the guide for mobile phones. 2. Will this come up in performance review for the user? Or myself for that matter? Users say dumb things. And I do think everyone needs basic IT literacy training or requirements. People use IT or any other help desk as confessionals and tell you what they don't know. Amongst other things because they don't realize the person on the other end is human too. We are spoken at, not to. It's almost like a badge of honor to not know IT literacy. And for me, I've already spoken to my manager who had nothing to say about it. 3. I'm bad at my job. Well, I perform at a level I'd say is adequate. To the letter. Some people say that's bad. But targets are met and that's the important takeaway. I have no aspirations for progression. Because I'm leaving IT to follow my other dream job which has nothing to do with IT. I will be your guide today. Your guide. When I worked in support for a manufacturer of radio devices, our job was effectively to read the manuals to people. Because the manuals listed everything one could ever want to know. Without fail. We'd get several calls a day that open with, "I've read this manual front to back 5 times and I can't figure out how to set this up," which we then read them the exact same instructions in the manual that they may or may not have already read. And at the end of the call they'd be singing praises about how helpful we were. In Germany they call a cell phone handy, so you would have a handy dandy handy guide. I'll read a user guide, but God help you if you think I'll watch a 20-minute video to learn something that could be explained in 3 bullets. Where is the any finger? They should write, "Don't panic," on the guide, in large and friendly letters. That's when you say, "It can't be fixed. Let's do a factory hard reset and try that." My support lead did this for our new hire yesterday. Since he's found that if you send the new guy the latest, here's 75% of everything we do in one easy guide, they won't even open it. By walking them through it for a few hours, he can then say, "We covered this in the guide. Might want to refresh from it, not ask already answered questions and processes." He's great at upskilling them, but this is the core basics. We're not holding your hand on those for more than an initial onboarding. Wait for the hard stuff to kick in, then we'll dedicate time to supporting you more. My favorite question from an end user is, "What is a browser?" And I was so tempted to pull up Wikipedia and just read the entire article. This is people who work at a fintech company. There is remote access for phones. ConnectWise, Screen Connect. But it is much more involved. Not for user help desk like your position. More for companies that have managed phones. I kind of got hung up on a comment you made. Can you explain the situation where you were asked which finger to use? As someone who writes guides and manuals, it's depressing and reassuring to know that no self-service material will ever replace humans in customer support. I work as a manager of several teams of folks doing your job. To anyone criticizing you and saying you did the wrong thing, you didn't. Could you have done more? Maybe. But a lot of people can't follow the instructions that tell the person on the phone to follow the instructions. Reading your story mostly just makes me say, thank God. Someone who can navigate a knowledge base and follow instructions. Yay. Some users are just bad like that. I had one. Gave him the guide. Kept insisting it doesn't work. Email won't work on his phone. I finally hustle through back channels. Who cares? Have him install TeamViewer so I can remote in and actually watch what he does. He would announce on the phone as he goes along with each step, following the guide. But then comes the step to agree to the security policy. He doesn't announce what he's doing on these screens and hits no to everything. I chime in. You have to click yes for those. Have you been clicking no? The guide says click yes. Yay. But it said security. So I clicked no. 3 weeks of back and forth and he selects yes this time. Would you be fucking surprised his email started working? Half the time guys like this are making $100K a year. My last job sometimes calls to ask how to do things and my response is always to direct them to the colorful manuals I made for them that include pictures and everything. They wonder why I left. I was once a sysadmin at an ISP. We sent out an instruction email to all staff to achieve a particular thing they needed to do. And we wrote the instructions very carefully to be as short as reasonably possible without missing steps. Sales guy rings up asking about it. So I read the subject of the email exactly as written. Then he asked what he needed to do and I told him just to follow the instructions. And he said he wasn't too sure and was in a hurry. What could I do to help? So I started reading them to him. After a sentence and a bit, he interrupted and asked if I was simply going to read it to him. And when I said yes, hung up. People that call tech support are idiots. Do you know how many people's passwords I've reset to password just like that? And they can't spell the word password. Or when I tell them it's all lowercase letters. and they still can't get it because they type it in password. Or, one who did it as password. Call support here. Sometimes the call menu can be confusing, and as a courtesy I could arrange the call so I was listening in with them to the automated systems. A conferenced call. This was outside my normal functions and ruined my call times. But I enjoy helping people. However, I am greatly annoyed when I get a call from someone who has come to expect me to do this every time they call instead of listening to the menu options and wasting my time because it inconveniences them to have to listen to instructions. There's a lot to listen to at the start. You can skip by pressing 1 twice to select an option and a language as English. I am one with the guide is with me.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.